IMHO Talk Show.
But yeah, man. So people talking about that presidential debate. I know we got to get to that, get some thoughts on what y'all think of the status and the. We talking about Bronny being qualified. Is the leader of the free nation qualified? That's what I need to know. But but before we get into that, for those that don't know, look up, and for people that think when we talk politics and government, though, y'all. but when we talk things like it's in serious conversations, people will be like throwing some sexy red out, like I want to twerk, I want to talk about this. Yeah. Here's why: because in the news, there was a West Virginia family. The white family that has been adopting black children. Come to find out, they had treating the kids like modern day slaves. Had them living out in an outhouse.
How many kids?
It was a few. Dare I say several? But it got busted, and it was proven that that these kids were their slaves, but they were adopting them as if they were going to take care of them. You got that, and then you got over in Tennessee, where dare I say, one of the presidential candidates has given the bravado once again to white supremacy, to where they think they're gonna be just going around burning crosses.
You know what?
Up in Tennessee. So for those that don't think talking about serious issues is important, and we shouldn't vote and we shouldn't get involved, hey, look at the news.
Here's my disclaimer, and it's my opinion and not the station's, Max or Charles, or in my humble opinion. But I will definitely say, me personally, I've always had a side eye when I see Caucasian families adopting black kids. Ever since Angelina
you
Jolie,
just upset a whole lot of Caucasian.
No, I'm just saying.
Disclaimer, Miss Mac.
I'm just saying. Like,
I'm about to say something crazy.
And this is the reason I say this, right?
Okay, that's fair.
I was a barber for a long time, so a lot of times Caucasian families would bring me in to cut the kids' hair.
Right, makes sense.
And it was all. Wait a minute, let me finish.
Oh, it doesn't make sense.
It was always.
When you say black kids, you mean like 100%.
Whether they were African American, just no mix. Like because I'm sure it exists, but I never saw a lot of mixed kids being adopted by white families. I saw a lot of black kids from Haitian, Africa, whatever, right? And it was always disturbing to me if they never wanted to bring them to the barbershop, but always wanted me to cut them at their house. When I would go to their house, the kids were almost raised to where their culture did not exist.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a problem.
And anytime that the kids seemed like they were gravitating to their culture, they would exit the kid from that. Right. You know what I'm saying? So just in my experience, I always worried about these kids being abused in a way, because just like we talk about, we come from kings, queens, and our ancestors. A lot of these people come from their ancestors too, that enslaved people.
Right.
And when you're writing the rules and the regulations as to what you can do, you can hide under the shadow of some atrocities.
Let me tell you something else to consider. Have you two ever observed a family out in the public park, the events, different things like that? White family who's adopted black kids, where the kid almost looks ashamed or embarrassed with that white family.
Oh yeah.
That's troubling. I know I've seen it on more than one occasion.
Sometimes it looks like the child should have a leash on them. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's their pet.
I feel you. So let me interject there, and then we can get to the president as well. Because while all those are valid concerns, and yes, indeed, you never should strip somebody of their culture. You should make sure that they're in environments that's going to be productive and nurturing to their innate selves. And I would believe that. But I do want to say real quick, Ms. Mack, I'll get right back to you. I can't help but think of just like when there's black organizations, right, that are just failing unbelievably, and then black people be like, and then when somebody of another ethnicity steps up to try to help, then black people got their mouths open and be like, why are they up in there?
Right.
And then I have to ask them, what did you do?
Yeah, what did you do?
Right.
That's my only thing is like I don't want to discredit the great adoptive parents because there are some out there.
And that's what I was gonna say.
But listen, if that child is another race, you owe that child. If you're taking on that responsibility, you owe that child to keep them in environments and keep them nurtured so that they know who they are.
Right. Right.
But a lot of people do it for money, right? So, and
especially the foster system.
And these organizations know that they do that, right? So I believe some of them are allowing their people to benefit financially with these children that they adopt.
Or one would argue that it's their people who are more qualified, whatever the rubric is, to adopt.
Yeah, especially if you write the rules to make sure that you're more qualified.
That's true.
You know, so that's my thing. I think that the rules are written to keep Black families from being able to adopt.
That's deep.
You know, and that's just my take on it. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
because when you start talking to people that are in charge of these adoption things and you start asking questions, they start shuffling in their seat. And if you don't think so, bring someone on the show and let me sit across from them.
No, I feel, you know, I mean, same thing in most systems, right? It's like we have a different scale than other ethnicity.
Yeah,
but you know, so between that and the cross burning in Tennessee that made public news, do y'all think? do y'all think it is it's a good look for America? I've been seeing a lot of good memes, funny memes. It's sad. If you watched any of the debate this past week, I guess that was Thursday, it was quite sad. I think the general consensus is because we have two old guys. One looks senile and looks like that he has dementia, and then the other candidate looks like that he's about to croak at any moment, have a stroke or a heart attack.
Yeah.
And these and they want us. When I say they, I'm talking about the machines, the RNC and the DNC. Yeah. They want us to believe that this is the best that we got.
So there's the only choices we got at the moment.
Yep. The bad part about for me is that, you know, when I grew up, I thought if you was Black, you had to vote Democrat. Like you didn't have a choice. Like this is what you had to do. And then I found out that white people looked at it the same way. You're going to vote Democratic because you're Black. You know what I'm saying? As our financial state changed, as we got into different rooms, you know what I'm saying? You started realizing that they didn't want. Denver Riggleman actually was the one that set me down and explained to me that, you know, his party didn't want him to even come on our show and talk because Black people are going to vote Democratic anyway.
Yeah, he should have made some sneakers.
Right.
Like
so yeah, like they told him, he wasn't
we
Trump
like
enough.
Sneakers.
Yeah. So when it comes down to us choosing, I don't think Bernie's qualified. Like I think mentally, Biden. Yeah. I mean, Biden isn't qualified. And I think that Trump understands in order for him to get to a certain point, he has to embellish the racist part because that's who's willing to support.
Did Biden still get the job done, even though we may feel like he's impaired in some ways?
That's what it boils down to me. I'm sorry, we're asking
financially,
I'm asking
nation-wise, like it's where I get confused at is because people put things in play that don't actually go into play until the next presidency comes on. So if Biden puts something in, Trump comes in, then we get the benefit for what Biden does. Trump gets the benefit
unless they repeal it.
And then and then if Trump puts something in that makes the country like go down, but then they're gonna blame Biden because what he put in. You know what I'm saying? So that part is kind of confusing.
I'll argue everybody about that too. Like when people try to say that, because I'm like, they got to go and show me what he actually did. I mean, because Kim Kardashian was able to write some petitions and get some felons out of prison. Like he keeps talking about his prison reform. He didn't do anything prison reform. Here's my thing though, y'all. It's like I look so like we already talk about how when you get to that level of politics, you're a figurehead in those kind of positions. So I look at the teams. Right, because to me, when you said qualified, Biden wasn't qualified, I don't think either one of them are qualified. Like the fact checkers after the debate were like majority, 90% of what Trump said. No, what Trump said was lying. Like the fact checkers was like he lied. Biden was mostly telling the truth, but he doesn't sound like he knows what he's talking about because he's too old. Right, you know. But my thing is their teams. When I look at who Trump had with him, half them people in jail just about because they were fraudulent businessmen, as Trump was. They were white supremacists running white supremacist groups and been in jail for hate crimes, like people that don't like public education, right? So the list goes on and on and on. At least, and I don't care who knows who I may vote for if there's only two, unless I see a third party that's going to change my mind, which realistically, you know, is not going to happen now. We ain't ready for that yet. But at least when I look at the current Democrat system and when I look at Biden and who he has on his team, I can that at least makes more sense to me when I look at the people that's on his team. People who at least try to put things in position that I think keeps the democracy alive. Now I understand there's some people who look at a Trump presidency and feel like that the system is corrupt, so it don't matter. Let's let them just tear the system down. But I think we got to be careful about that. We really do, because again, look at the people that support him and he put in his cabinet.
I'm not even sure how we're still having a conversation or why Trump is still in the presidential race, given the fact that he's been charged with felonies and convicted of those as well.
But that's not
Great point.
That's not a deterrent from
Great
running
point.
the country. It's a deterrent for voting for presidency. So,
Which is a problem, wouldn't you agree?
Which is a problem.
But they
won't let us get a job if we're a felon, but we can be president. What sense that
And
makes?
that's what I'm saying. We're not in the point where we're writing out these laws and stuff, right? That's the problem. All right. But Max, to your point, there are a lot of people that I know that they don't care as much about Trump's moral values as they care about their financial benefits and jobs and money.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So,
and is that from lack of education?
No, because I'm going to be honest with you. I care about my money too. But because I always have to find my way, I'm not as worried about who's in presidency as much as I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do when the person is in presidency. That's my thing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not Republican, Democrat, or independent. I'm Team Robinson. You know what I'm saying? And whatever's going to benefit Team Robinson is what Razor's going to do.
Right. Well,
so, but I do understand that not everybody, God didn't give everybody the hustle mentality that me and my family have. And some people need to be taken care of. You know, the Bible says, you know, the poor will always be amongst you. So then I cannot, in good faith, allow myself to prosper while everybody else gets thrown to the wayside just because favor isn't fair and you weren't built for that. So that's where my dilemma comes in at.
And that's what voting is supposed to be based on. The right is like what's
your interest?
Yeah, like lesser of two evils. Which candidate has most of your interests at hand? And that's why people talk about black people at this point shouldn't even be like shouldn't follow party lines. Like we should vote based on our interests. But our community interests is what I think is the point behind that. Because I feel but I mean, I feel like we do. Like, are we fragmented? Yeah,
local
like we're heavily fragmented, and there's a lot of things that we got to mend up. Like, but my point is, when it comes to voting, though, perfect example. A lot of people hide behind like religion and their personal beliefs. I feel like that's dangerous. Now, if you say a candidate is putting in policies that's going to help you and your family, of course you should vote for that. But what I have a problem with is that people act like the government is going to be my pastor. The president ain't your pastor. If you believe something, then you and your circle of believers or whatever it is you stand for should be going out helping people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, to me, government's job is to govern the people, not because the president believes what I believe. That's not what this country is about. And too many people vote based on their personal beliefs.
Yeah, I don't even know how I'm gonna vote.
Policy,
to be honest with you, I'm not saying I'm voting Trump. So please don't think that I'm saying
voting or not
that.
voting.
No, I'm going to vote because somebody got bit by a dog so that I could. You know what I'm saying? So I'm definitely going to vote.
I like that.
But
that's important.
It's one of those things.
But don't make them mad though. You gotta make the ancestors proud when you vote though.
No, my ancestors stay mad. My ancestors is just mean people. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't pray back to my ancestors, because I know some of them crazy. But in all jokes aside, when I look at it, I don't know. Okay, because I'm black does not mean that I align with everything that black people supposedly get services and a leg up for. There's things that I've gotten turned down for what I thought I was going to get because I didn't fit, right? So then I go after a financial growth in the businesses I do, and then I realize that, I'm not accepted. My money is accepted. My black face isn't. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm not with the whole integration type thing. We were supposed to, integrate our money, not our black face. I run into that. So when I look at what is the best vote for me, I don't have one yet. Like, in all honesty, and for somebody to try to tell me and not know how my shoes fit, you're just wasting your breath. You know what I'm saying?
I'll work on you after the show.
Yeah. You've been working on me for 8 years.
Sam, we need better presidential candidates.
We need better presidential candidates, right? And anytime that we tried to come up with, when I heard Ice Cube, when I heard West, Dr. West, all these people talking about black interests, they shut it down. You know what I'm saying?
But that's on us at the end of the day.
Well, that's because all they got to give is a $200 stimulus.
Exactly.
And
that's
then we
on
stop
us.
thinking about anything.
You remember Flavor Flav said, before I sell out, I get the hell out.
Yeah.
You don't think we've grown from that mentality a little bit, Razor?
No, not at all. We're worse because when we speak about it, then we're trying to grow from it. When we don't even talk about it, then you don't have no idea what that person is thinking behind the eyes. And that's where we are right now. People aren't openly offended besides making fun of the presidential candidates on TV. Nobody's really doing any of the work outside of when it's time to vote. So you really don't care about it. You're in survival mode.
That's key right there. And then we kick it to Miss Max because we got Chief Conscious waiting. But no, you good. You made your point, right? Yeah. So, but that's key because when people talk about having other candidates, that's the work that we got to do for 3 years, right? Before the election year. Like we can't wait till now and be like, I'm gonna waste my vote on a candidate that has no chance of winning. Like we got to work on getting a more qualified candidate before.
IMHO Talk Show.